Welcome to ATCM, the Emergency Medicine channel. Today we are discussing about a case. Dr. Suraj will be giving the details of the case. Can we start?
Yes, sir. Sir, this is a case of a 72-year-old male who was brought to the ER with the complaints of anuria, fever and chills for the last 3 days.
Can you tell me the causes of anuria in this age?
Sir, in an old age, an underlying known case of any chronic renal disease will present with anuria. He may be on renal replacement therapy for that. It could be any acute kidney injury that could have progressed to renal failure. If a patient is in septic shock causing hypoperfusion of kidneys, it can
cause. The most common cause is obstructive. Like BPH. Suddenly patient will not be able to pass any urine, but there are more symptoms, pain, all these things. Yes. Here without pain.
Yes, painless. Yes. So on initial assessment, airway was patent, he was able to talk, no signs of obstruction. On assessment of breathing, his saturation was 100% in room air and air entry was bilaterally equal with a respiratory rate of 24 per minute. His heart rate was 88 and blood pressure was 110/60. He's a known case of hypertension on Amlong 2.5 mg. The GRBS was found to be 100, he's not a diabetic. And temperature on arrival, he was actually afebrile. He was treated in an outside hospital for which antipyretics were given before transportation. So initially on blood gas investigations, his sodium was again found to be low. Sodium was 105 and potassium was on the higher side with a potassium of 5.1. Pseudohyperkalemia was ruled out. A single prick was done to take the VBG. And ECG showed normal sinus rhythm.
So, what are the ECG changes of hyperkalemia?
Hyperkalemia, it will initially present, there will be prolongation of PR interval, there will be QT interval prolongation, QRS will widen, and finally it will, the QR, R and T will merge and we'll have a sine wave pattern.
Very tall T waves are another
initial, yeah.
Please continue.
So on sample history, he's a known case of cholelithiasis and a known case of fundal polyp in the stomach and chronic gastritis. He's a chronic hypertensive taking Amlong 2.5 mg. And he has had one previous admission of this acute kidney injury which was treated and reverted back to normal. His baseline creatinine has been 1.3 since. So this time when he presented with complaints of 3-day history of anuria, he presented to a nearby hospital wherein they evaluated and he was diagnosed to have UTI. He was started with IV antibiotics, but because of persistence of fever and the anuria, there was no improvement in the urine outcome. He was referred to our center for further management.
What are the reversible causes of renal failure?
Usually pre-renal failure, hypotension, hypoperfusion of the kidney is a reversible cause. Again, if it is a calculus causing obstruction, reversal of obstruction can reverse the kidney injury. Toxin-mediated injuries may initially through dialysis, but after that the kidney can retain functioning.
Infections are very important. Urinary tract infection that can reverse that can produce renal failure and we can easily reverse it.
Yes.
Okay. Anemia is another cause for reversible renal failure. Okay, please continue.
Coming to secondary survey was done. Now at this particular point we asked for a routine blood investigations and the WBC count was elevated. It was 19,000 and 90% neutrophilic, suggesting an acute infection.
Okay.
So at this,
can you get elevated WBC count in inflammatory conditions?
Yes, yes, sir, inflammatory conditions also.
It doesn't show that infection, but that's a contributory finding. In infection it may be elevated. Even in inflammation it may be elevated.
His CRP was also elevated. It was 250. And at this point serum procalcitonin was also done, which was found to be 39, elevated.
What is the importance of procalcitonin in emergency?
Procalcitonin is a marker, we can use it as a marker for bacterial sepsis. Okay. And since it is very severely increased, it is strongly suggestive with a history of fever and chills with high elevated counts on procalcitonin. A urinary tract infection should be.
Suspect a urosepsis.
Urosepsis, yes, sir. Okay. So ultrasound abdomen was also done for the same to rule out any intra-abdominal collection or to rule out any renal parenchymal changes. It showed the corticomedullary differentiation was preserved, but there was
importance of corticomedullary differentiation.
In cases of chronic kidney disease, when we do an ultrasound, the renal corticomedullary differentiation is lost and size shrinks, so it differentiates AKI from. And also bilaterally the kidneys were found to be enlarged, so we proceeded with MDCT which showed.
Is there any hydronephrosis in this patient?
Yes, sir. As per because of the.
What it indicates? Enlarged kidney, hydronephrosis in a UTI case. What it indicates?
It could be pyelonephritis, and also obstruction should be the cause of.
One of the major things. Can be a calculus obstruction or non-calculus obstruction due to inflammation itself. So, but there is an obstruction. Okay.
Or
the pyelonephritis, as you told.
So because it's bilateral hydronephrosis, the CT confirmed the finding. There was no visible calculus. Okay. So he is anyway being planned for a DJ stenting. So because relieving of obstruction, we are expecting the kidney functioning to also come back to normal. Okay. His creatinine on admission was found to be 5, and his blood urea nitrogen was also 100, which is more than 20 the ratio, which fits into the criteria of AKI. And using Akin and rifle staging, he comes into stage 3 because there is an increase of more than 3 from his baseline creatinine over a sudden period of time. So after that, and for further improvement of kidney function, he is also posted for renal replacement therapy.
Okay, that's okay. In emergency room, how do you manage? His sodium is low. He has got urosepsis, but he doesn't have hypertension.
Yes.
His sodium is low, urosepsis is there. How do you manage the sodium problem in this patient? What might be the reason for hyponatremia?
For him, it could be excessive loss of sodium via
the most important cause is excessive loss in urinary tract infection. That is not given in many books.
Yes.
But you can see many patients who is having urinary tract infection will be losing sodium to the kidneys. So only if you treat the problem, you can reverse it.
Yes.
But suppose the patient is having altered behavior and this hyponatremia, how do you manage?
So in that case, you will have to treat it as a symptomatic hyponatremia, and correction should be started with 3% sodium chloride. Okay. And hypertonic saline correction will have to be started in that case for him.
That's okay.
And
now, how do you manage this infection part in this case?
Sir, IV antibiotics should be started as soon as possible.
What antibiotic you prefer this patient?
Sir, in case of, because pyelonephritis we are suspecting it will be a complicated UTI. Okay. So we can have IV ciprofloxacin or third generation cephalosporins can be used for the treatment of the same. Okay. Urine was also sent for culture. Urine routine has also been sent. If we get any culture sensitivity report, we will be changing our antibiotics.
Okay. What is the importance of creatinine clearance in this type of patients?
In these old patients, the creatinine clearance initially will be reduced. So if you are planning for any investigation, we are using a dye or any nephrotoxic drugs that we are giving. So the dosage of the antibiotics will have to be corrected as per the creatinine.
Antibiotics require a dose adjustment according to creatinine clearance, but ciprofloxacin and ceftriaxone may not require. Suppose this urine shows E. coli and ESBL positive. What is the meaning of ESBL positivity?
ESBL is
extended spectrum
lactam antibody. Yeah.
So there you cannot use your ceftriaxone or routine beta lactam antibody. You have to go to higher drugs.
Carbapenem
groups are best. In that case, if you are starting carbapenem, will it your creatinine will be helpful?
Yes, sir. Carbapenems cannot be directly given. In any cases of kidney injury, for carbapenem, the creatinine clearance will have to be calculated and the dosage will have to be given as per that.
Can we give fluids for this patient in emergency room?
So we will.
What are things you prerequisition for fluid therapy in this patient?
So first of all, we'll check for the BP, any sign of hypotension. Then using ultrasound, we check the IVC of the patient. If the IVC is not distended and the collapsibility of the IVC is more than 50%, in that case, it is suggestive that the patient will be fluid responsive. So for such patients, we can initiate, although they should be catheterized and the output should be monitored. Adequate output of 0.5 ml per kg per hour should be maintained.
Okay. Suppose this patient is diabetic and sugars are high. Will you start oral diabetics, anti-diabetics or insulin? Which is the best choice?
Insulin, rapid acting insulin will be the drug of choice. Initially with a fixed dose, we'll start glucose monitoring TID with, as per that, we'll have be giving an actrapid.
Okay. What follow-up this patient requires afterwards?
Right, this patient, if he started on renal replacement therapy, there will be regular renal replacement therapy session should be done. Electrolytes will have to be monitored serially, and following that, the creatinine clearance again should be rechecked. An ultrasound of the abdomen to see improvement of the hydrouretronephrosis will be there, and other than that, he should also be informed regarding progression to a chronic kidney disease.
What is the role of erythropoietin in renal failure?
So erythropoietin will help in increasing the blood counts. If HB is less than 10, we can start erythropoietin. Also, if it goes down to below 7, through serial HB monitoring, we should start blood transfusion should be started for the same.
What are the indications of dialysis in emergency room?
So for any acute kidney injury patients, when you are suspecting for dialysis, if there is a persistent hyperkalemia of more than 6.5, patient presents with any life-threatening amount of consumption of any poisoning, then they should be taken up for dialysis. In conditions where there is uremic pericarditis is an indication, hyponatremia is an indication of sodium less than 115 due to the kidney injury. In that case, we take them up for dialysis. Along with that, if there is any persistent acidosis or any bleeding dyscrasias are present in the patient due to the kidney injury, we will be taking them up for dialysis.
What are the common electrolyte imbalance you see in chronic renal failure?
Chronic, the potassium hyperkalemia is always a risk. The calcium levels will fall, hypocalcemia, and
you may have to give calcium for this patient.
And hyperphosphatemia will be
have to give phosphate binders. Okay, these are the routine things we do in emergency room. Thank you, Suresh, for your nice presentation.